Coming up, I'm going to tell you the fastest way to get a job in this new economy. And then Amazon layoffs, we'll break those down. And then a leaked memo from Amazon about how they're pushing recruiters out and how disastrous I think that is. Helping you make more money and experience more meaning. Work doesn't have to be a four-letter word. I want you to make more income and make more impact. Let's go. So what's the fastest way to get a job in the new economy? What is the new economy? Well, it's just simply this very interesting world in which we live where you've got the gig economy, right? Everybody with the side hustles, all the multiple options, whether it's driving for Uber or Lyft or delivering food. There's just so many ways to get extra money. Then there is the work from home, remote only. Then there's the hybrid model, some at home, some at the office. And then the fact that we are entering into a potential recession, being predicted by many, many economists on both sides of the aisle. We'll see if it happens. We have the Fed with our feckless Fed chair, Jerome Powell. God bless him. He's completely clueless, and he's trying to hurt the job market. He's trying to suppress employment, and it's not working, by the way, I said that on this program. I did. I've said many times. You know what, Alex? I don't know if you're going to want to do this or if we have time, but here's an idea. We should pull all of the clips where I said that raising interest rates would not work in depressing the job economy, and maybe we just put a little reel together. But anyway, I digress. I was right. Jerome is wrong. And so this is the new economy that we're talking about. Job market still hot. 4 million people quit their jobs in October, continuing the great resignation. The big merry-go-round, it's happening. So this is the new economy that we talk of. All right, now, how do you get a job in the new economy? Because it's still competitive and it's a little bit more intense than what we've known in previous job economies or in previous environments, okay? First, there's too many hacks out there. Beware of hacks. Now, I used to work in politics, and so the phrase or the word hack referred to a person, a political hack. This is not a person per se, although we have people, hacks, promoting hacks. So beware of the hacks, right? I'll use the old political version of it. If you got a bunch of hacks out there giving you hacks, what are we talking about? Well, the idea of how do we circumvent the process. And I'm all for life hacks. I give life hacks on the show. A lot of people think I'm a hack. Hey, what the heck? Ha! What the heck? I'm a hack. All right? By the way, I just accidentally went into character of Alf from the famous sitcom of the 80s or 90s. Remember that? Alf? Yes, you do. All right. So let me give you an example of some of the things that people are doing. And this is a hack, and I think you got to be wary of this kind of stuff, trying to game the system, all right? This is a real example. So, Alex, I don't know if you've heard of this, but people are copying and pasting the description of the job you're applying for onto the bottom of your resume. But what they do is they shrink it down to this itsy-bitsy, eensy-weensy, teensy-weensy font, and then they make it white. So essentially it's on the document, but you can't see it, okay? And so what's the point of this hack? The idea is it optimizes your resume so the applicant tracking system can find it better. Okay, but why don't you just take phrases from the job description and put it in actual content on the resume? Now, I bring up this hack because I'm not against this hack at all. Fine, do it. It's not hurting anything. They can't see it. It's actually kind of innovative. I like it. But here's my point in pointing this out. That's not going to win you the job. That hack alone is not going to win you the job. And so if you're just constantly trying to game the system and you forget that, wait a second, the best way to win a job or the best hack for getting a job in any job economy, no matter whether it's good, bad, crazy, or whatever, is to understand it's about connections. The right people plus the right places is the formula for bringing you opportunity. When I'm around the right people in the right places, opportunities present themselves to me. It's true of you. When you put yourself around the right people and in the right places, and you're talking about getting a job, and the narrative is clear, opportunities present themselves to you. I cannot guarantee the timing, but I can guarantee the outcome. And the outcome will be that opportunities will show up and knock on your door. Opportunities move at the speed of connection. Okay? I just want that to sit. Opportunities for you, opportunities for me, move at the speed of connection. Now, what I don't want you to hear in that statement is that it's about frenetic machine gun style of firing. Yeah, it's not that. Okay? But the more that I am connecting, and we're talking about two key words describing more. Okay? So it is a higher volume than normal, and it is consistent. But it's not machine gun, but it's like, okay, what are the max? What's the max number of connections I can make in a day and in a week and in a month? To where they're real connections. In other words, meaningful conversations. Okay? Not sending 50 messages on LinkedIn. That's the machine gun. I'm going to send a bunch of messages on Facebook and LinkedIn. And boy, I'm going to sit back and just wait for the cows to come home. Well, I got to tell you something. That rarely works. Real connections deliver real opportunities. So I can say, all right, I can make, and I'm making this up, 1 legit connection a day, or 3 in a week, which means in a month I can make 12. Getting really intentional about how many connections you can really make, that's going to lead to opportunities. Let me tell you what happens when we do this. We see things in the hidden job market. We covered this on the show recently. What is the hidden job market? These are roles that are filled by internal candidates or referrals. So the company needs to fill the position, but they're not posting the position. It's estimated that 70% of jobs are never posted publicly. So this is probably a big headline for some of you. This is breaking news. I need some breaking news music. 70% of jobs are never posted publicly. So essentially, the only way you would know about those jobs is through real connections. Then the non-existent job market. How about the fact that when I make real connections and I keep making them and I get myself in an opportunity where I'm talking to somebody and they go, so tell me what it is you want to do. Your friend Roger told me to talk to you. And what do you want to do? What's your experience? You start talking to them, they go, okay, I tell you what. And by the way, this has happened to my wife multiple times. My wife, Stacey, the queen of the non-existent job. She starts talking to people and they create a job for her. In fact, Alex, she's had this happen to her 3 or 4 times. And you know, she just got another one offered to her. She turned it down. She's just talking to people. They go, hey, would you like to talk some more? She goes, sure. They create a job for her. Why? Real connection, real opportunity. So there you go. That's how you find a way. That's the best way to find a job in this new economy. All right, coming up next, we're going to pick on Amazon some more.
Did you know that just like a product, you have a personal brand? It's the image or impression others form about you based on your interactions. And whether we realize it or not, our personal brand impacts opportunities to grow in our careers. That's why our team created the Personal Brand Survey. It's free, and it will give you personal and professional feedback so you can own your strengths and uncover any blind spots holding you back. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/brand.
Helping you get unstuck and become unstoppable. I'm Ken, your coach, your counselor, your cheerleader. This is the Ken Coleman Show. My whole goal for you is more income, baby, and a whole lot more influence. Influencing results that you care about. Is this possible? Is this a fantasy? It's not. It's real. Now, I will tell you that this is the part of the show where I am a man of the people, and this is where I display my undying love, loyalty for the people. Now, what am I talking about? Well, you see a lot of news, a lot of headlines all the time, and you could go to any amount of networks, and you can get a bunch of, it's kind of a cornucopia, if you will, of news. You know what you get here on this show? You get news that relates directly to you and your work, meaning I want to get ahead. I want to win. I want to know when I need to survive. I need to know how to thrive. And I give you news that matters to you, and I give you a voice. And this is what we're going to do here, which means I'm going to call out bad bossery, lazy leadership, I need some more of those. I'm going to work on that. It's going to be fun. Here we go. First story. Amazon layoffs now expected to mount to 20,000, including top managers. Now listen, you hear a number like 20,000, and you got to understand, in the grand scheme of what Amazon's doing, 20,000 is not a huge number. But I think there's a bigger issue going on with Amazon, and I think this is tip of the iceberg. By the way, I report what it needs to be reported. I am not anti-Amazon. I'm a Prime member. I love it. But I think they're horrible when it comes to treating people the right way. They just are. And more on this now. So in multiple locations and departments, Amazon's going to be laying people off all levels. Company managers over the last few days, however, have been told that they should try to identify work performance problems among employees as part of an effort to lay off the 20,000 people. 20,000 employees are the equivalent of about 6% of Amazon's corporate staff, and about 1.3% of Amazon's total 1.5 million workers. The CEO is a guy by the name of Jassy. It's his last name. Is he classy Jassy? Is he sassy Jassy? I don't know. But we'll call him by his last name because I like saying it. Jassy, Amazon CEO, elaborated on the layoffs this Wednesday during an interview with the New York Times. He said, "We felt like we needed to streamline our costs." Oh, did you? Okay. He goes on to give context here that their retail business grew quickly during the early days of the pandemic, of course, because everybody was at home ordering off of Amazon. There are rumors that Joe ordered ice cream. I don't know if that could be verified, nor could it be delivered, but there were rumors. His direct quote on this expansion during the pandemic was, "It forced us to make decisions at that time to spend a lot more money and to go much faster in building the infrastructure than we ever imagined we would," which is corporate gobbledygook for we staffed up big time. Again, great. Companies have to do that. That's a good problem to have. He said, "We knew we might be overbuilding." Okay. Again, no problem there. All right. So when we look at layoffs, like 20,000 from Amazon, I think you have to be careful to not go, "Oh no," because here's what's going to happen. My friends at Fox Business, Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, Newsmax, y'all, your local TV people, they're going to take headlines like this and they're going to go, "Looming layoffs at Amazon. If Amazon is laying off 20,000 people, how bad of a blank show is it going to be for the rest of us in 2023?" That's essentially what the tenor will be. Wait a second. Let's look to the story. During the pandemic, everybody went home and everybody bought online. So Amazon's numbers ballooned, the demand ballooned, and so they had to bring in people. Okay? Laying off 20,000 people as consumer spending habits slow is not a news story. It's just not. And I want to make sure you understand. I'm trying to bring common sense. Wait a second. The sky is not falling. The job market's still very healthy. Unemployment at 3.7%. Jerome Powell is trying to drive unemployment up with his interest rate hikes. It's not working. Go look at the jobs report from October. I think you have to take a wait and see attitude, and I'm going to continue to inform you and equip you on how to be recession proof. That's what this show does. But just understand, this is not the end of the world because Amazon's laying off 20,000 people. The bigger issue is how many people are quitting Amazon, and thus our next story. That, my friends, is called a segue. A leaked memo from Amazon may help explain why the tech giant is pushing out so many recruiters. Last week, Amazon extended buyout offers to hundreds of its recruiters as part of what is expected to be a months-long cycle of layoffs that has left corporate employees across the company angered and on edge. There's an internal document that has leaked. This is a Vox.com article. Recode, whatever that is, has viewed said document. All right? And it is all about the new artificial intelligence technology that Amazon has been testing starting last year. For a year, they have been working on replacing human recruiters. Okay? Human recruiters. They've been trying to replace them. All right? And they've been trying to do it with a artificial intelligence software. Okay? To cut costs and try to be efficient. The technology, okay, known internally as Automated Applicant Evaluation, or AAE, was built by a group of Amazon's HR division known as Artificial Intelligence Recruitment Team and was first tested last year. Now, this is the second go-round for Amazon on artificial intelligence replacing human recruiters. Folks, I'm going somewhere with this, and I think you're going to like it. But let's go back into the history books. Is this the first time that Amazon has tried to do this? The answer is no. And it didn't go well. In 2010, they tried this, and they discontinued the use of the system after, wait for it, it demonstrated a bias against women. Oh, no! Your super smart computers discriminated against women. Gee, I wonder how that happened. I don't understand. You're telling me that a computer with software somehow couldn't tell the difference between a woman and a man, and the results kept coming out negative towards women? Gee, I wonder how that happened. Now, they're bringing it back. Amazon has, well, wait a second. I got to make a point here before I go on to more of Amazon's automation, because this is relevant. You know what algorithms don't do? Though Amazon loves their algorithms. You know what algorithms don't do? They don't connect with humans. See, the algorithm doesn't have a soul. It's all science. You know what science doesn't have? A soul. You know what algorithms don't do? Algorithms don't hear stories from real people. You know what else algorithms don't do? Algorithms can't feel anything. And I don't believe, even though some will say, that algorithms and artificial intelligence can read body language. I don't believe they can read it well. Algorithms will never replace human connection. This is where Amazon is losing, and losing big.
So you just landed the new job. Congratulations. You've made it past the interviews, and now it's time to onboard with excellence. That's why I created How to Stand Out at Your New Job. This free checklist will help you succeed from day one and may even help you get promoted. These practical steps set you up to add value, help your team win, exceed your leaders' expectations, and ultimately set you up for a successful transition. To get started, just go to kencoleman.com/new.
Of the people, by the people, for the people. But, you can trust me on this. You know why? Because I'm not running for office. I'm not looking for your vote. But if I did, I would still be of the people, by the people, for the people. All right. I want to get to something really quick. We have what I love about the show is that we have live viewers via YouTube that are not all of our live viewers are engaged in the chat room, but a lot are. I call them the YouTube crazies. And we got a good question from Jonathan, and this always piques my interest, so I want to answer this very quickly. So Jonathan, I'm paraphrasing, Jonathan basically asked in the chat room, is it possible to succeed professionally if you're an introvert? Did I get that right? And the answer is yes. I'm going to give you my opinion and then give you a book that you ought to read that'll really encourage your heart. Number one, my opinion, and I write about this in both of my books, The Proximity Principle and Paycheck to Purpose. I believe extroverts like me need to take a page from the introvert playbook when it comes to connecting. Because introverts don't like the big crowds. They don't like the moving fast in between people. They're very much a one-to-one, low-key connecting type group of people. And that's actually the best way to go deeper. So extroverts could take a page from my introvert friends. So Jonathan, yes. Do I believe we live in an extroverted, weighted world and there's more advantages for extroverts? Yes, I do. But I absolutely believe that an introvert can crush it. And I know tons who do, and you can too. Second, I want to give you a good book to read. I had the privilege of interviewing Susan Cain many years ago. And Susan wrote the book Quiet, based largely on a TED Talk, I think of the same title, but look up Susan Cain TED Talk. You can watch that or buy the book Quiet. And I interviewed her about that, and she is an introvert, and she goes into great depth of how introverts can win. So you want to talk about a Bible for introverts? It's the book Quiet by Susan Cain. All right. Moving along here. Which do I want to cover first? Okay, we'll do this one. A new term. So quiet quitting is out there, and now we've got another term, and it's called career cushioning. Career cushioning. Now, just like quiet quitting wasn't a new phenomenon, it was just a really catchy way to say something that's been happening for quite some time. I talk about career cushioning all the time on this show. In fact, I'm a little bit miffed that I didn't come up with this one, but I didn't. Credit to a LinkedIn post from Catherine Fisher. Way to go, Catherine. I love what you did here. I love alliteration. Good on you. So this is not a new phenomenon. It just means that you're in the process of lining up a new gig while working at your current one. In other words, this is most people most of the time. Sometimes people get emotional and they don't make a good decision and they just say, I'm quitting and I have nothing to quit to. But most people, I mean, that's what you did, Alex. When you joined here, you had another job. I mean, most people do this. This is not a new phenomenon. So it's like cushioning your landing, right? Meaning you're going to walk from one job to the other. We talk about this every stinking day on the show. So there you go. Just keeping you informed, career cushioning, it's nothing new. It's like when you're dating, you're keeping your options open. You're not serious. All right, I get it. So there's one thing I want to get to in this article. They quoted somebody else from a Bloomberg interview. Abby Martin said, a lot of people feel that looking for another job while already employed is cheating on a company, which I find insane. And I agree with that. There's no cheating going on unless you were using their company time. And I've said that over and over again. You should not be taking job interviews during normal work hours, or if you're going to, then you need to use that as personal time, vacation time, sick time. That's cheating. That is cheating. But doing it the right way is not cheating. That's being strategic. So there it is, another phrase. We'll see how this catches on. Career cushioning. I need a phrase, folks. I'm gonna unveil a phrase. YouTube crazies, you're my live audience that gives me real-time feedback. I tested this one earlier today. So there's a phenomenon now because of so much remote and hybrid work where people are working multiple jobs. multiple, certainly 2 full-time jobs. You know what that's called? Wait a second. Oh, I don't have a drum roll. I thought I had a drum roll. You know what it is? Professional polygamy. Are you a professional polygamist? Are you holding down 2 full-time jobs and they don't know about each other? Kind of like the sister wives. Do you got that going on? If you do, you're a professional polygamist. There it is. We'll see how that goes. Okay, speaking of professional polygamists, they would reside in this category, remote workers. But this is an interesting story, different direction for remote work. The shift to remote work gave Americans who had previously been commuting, 60 million hours back. That's collectively. So of all the Americans who had been commuting and then they went to remote work, the collective, there were 60 million hours that were returned. Over 15% of full-time workers are still completely remote, and an additional 30% have hybrid schedules. So, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York analyzed some data from a new survey by the American Time Use Survey. Here's what they found. This is interesting. So, what are workers doing with the collective 60 million hours? We find that employed individuals allocate their saved commute time towards leisure activities and sleeping while reducing their overall work hours. Say it's not so. Come on. You mean you're telling people that are working at home in sweatpants, they're reducing the hours they're working? Come on. Is that true? According to this survey, yes, it is. The data suggests that working at home has prompted people to start work a bit early to get things done during their previous commuting hours. That makes a lot of sense. But time spent doing their job during paid work hours decreased overall and has been allotted to non-work related activities. Oh, I see. So this is intentional infidelity. Oh, I'm on a roll. We got professional polygamists. We got intentional infidelity. You are cheating on your company because they're not there watching you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, you are. Sneaking around. Yeah. Tomcatting. Whatever else they say. So, here's a specific breakdown. Sleeping is up by 1 hour. Leisure activities are up by more than 2 hours. Non-market work, including household maintenance, repairs, and meal prep, increased by 10 to 36 minutes away from home. The rise in leisure was obviously more pronounced among younger Americans, of course. They have more time to spend at social events. They don't have kids. They're eating out, going to bars, little drinky drink at 4:30. Might be 5 o'clock somewhere, or whatever that stupid phrase is. I never get that right. Must be 5 o'clock or something. Is that how that goes? All right. And exercising. Other activities that saw increases are childcare, job searching, and income-generating ventures that aren't directly associated with a person's full-time job. Uh-oh, wait a second, Alex. Let me go back to that one. Income-generating ventures. Fancy speak for a side hustle. Professional polygamy. I'm going to tell you something. See, that's why I'm calling it professional polygamy, by the way, because, see, polygamists are like, it's okay to have multiple wives. We got the sister wives. We just got a rotating schedule, and we figure out all that nonsense. So they think, well, it's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with it. These professional polygamists go, there's nothing wrong. As long as I do a good job for this job and I do a good job for this job, it's fine. So it's not wrong for me to be doing side hustle work during my normal work hours. You know why? Because, Ken, I'm doing a good job. You, sir, you, madam, are a professional polygamist, and it ain't right. And it's going to blow up on you. I couldn't imagine having more than one wife. I'd be stressed out, man. That's too many people to please. I couldn't handle it.
You were created to fill a unique role through your work, but it can feel overwhelming to figure out what that is. That's why I created the Get Clear Career Assessment. In just 15 minutes, you'll get customized results that clarify what you do best, the work you love to do, and the results that motivate you. All this helps you discover what you were born to do. And you'll get a list of professional possibilities to help you in your job search. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/assessment.
Part coach, part counselor, part cheerleader. I am Ken, man of the people, and I am here for you. It's time for our coaching session. If you want to jump in and get coached up, 844-747-2577. That's the number, 844-747-2577. Sarah is joining us now in Atlanta, Georgia. Sarah, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Sarah. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm just taking it one day at a time.
That's what we need to do sometimes. I like it.
Yes. My question is, I've been in social services in different areas working for the government for about 8 or 9 years. And back in college, I took a liking and interest in makeup artistry. So over the time, I did freelance work, taking different courses and things like that. And even this year in April, I graduated with my esthetician license. Now I'm making a career transition into that more so full time. I wanted to know, with my background in just social services only, how do I make myself stand out?
How would you describe the skill set that you developed by being a social worker? Give me just a couple of key phrases. So as a social worker, you are now skilled at fill in the blank.
I'm skilled at de-escalating situations, customer service, multitasking.
Yeah. Tell me more about the customer service. What are the specific skills in serving a customer that you now have because you're a social worker?
Really getting down to what the customer needs and bypassing all of the extra fluff and getting down to the solution.
Yeah. I think that's where I would focus on allowing yourself to stand out in how you describe yourself on the resume and in all job interviews, because an esthetician is working on someone's face. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so it is I would say, fairly focused and time-consuming process, yes?
Yes, definitely.
And my guess is a good amount of conversation happening, right?
Right, correct.
Much like the amount of words my wife and her hairdresser exchange when she's getting a cut and color. Am I right?
You're right.
So I think a social worker and all of the experience and all of the skills, we only focused on skills for the moment, but I think of all of your experience, making a woman's face look good and feel good is the technical job description. Is that a decent way of describing it?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, but a great esthetician probably makes the person's heart feel good.
Okay.
You see where I'm going?
Yes.
They're going to tell you stuff, aren't they?
Right.
All right. Now, as a woman, and I've never gotten a facial, all right? But as a woman, I want you to put yourself in your customer's shoes. Okay? She comes in, she's going to get her face, whatever, worked on, right? And she's got a lot going on in her life, stressed out. Maybe she's got to make a school decision for her kids, or one of her kids is having a rough time. Just whatever, life. And that starts to come up. And not only do you make her face look good and feel good, but you're able to give her some advice or maybe just straight up encouragement. When she leaves, do you think she's going to value you and the experience and the company more?
Definitely, yes.
That's your hook.
Okay.
I can take care of the face, but the bonus you get with me is I take care of their head and heart. That'd be my punchline.
Okay.
I mean, I'm having some fun with this, but does that make sense to you?
It does. It definitely does.
That's how you stand out. Listen, getting qualified, you're in the process of getting qualified, or you're already qualified to be an esthetician. True or false?
True.
Okay, then. So you want to stand out. You know what you bring to the table? I've been a social worker. I specialize in people's problems. What I bring to the table is that uniqueness, that I'm going to take care of what they came for, but I give them so much more, which is be a cheerleader, a counselor, whatever you want to say. I think that makes you stand out. I'm hiring you over somebody else who has none of your experience.
Nice.
You got it?
Yes, I got it.
Yes. Way to go, Sarah. This is the uniqueness. And by the way, here's the lesson from Sarah. And I love her question. The lesson is we all have some skill. We all have some experience that is transferable. You just got to dig a little bit. Got to dig. You have so much more to offer than you realize. But you got to dig. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
Helping you make more money and experience more meaning, helping you beat the competition, even if it's just beating the you of yesterday. I'm Ken. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Hey, if you like the show, if it's encouraging you, entertaining you in any way, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, and would you share? A review and a share is what I'm asking for. You're the greatest marketing tool anybody has. I know that. You know that. Would you do that? I'd be grateful. Pedro is up in Edmond, Oklahoma. Pedro, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello, Ken. Thank you for having me today. I hope all is well.
All is well. It's so good it scares me.
Oh, man. Well, all is well for me as well, but I'm heading into scary territory. I'm transitioning from the military. I've been medically discharged. I've been doing something I love and enjoy, but the Air Force has said I'm too broke to keep doing it.
Whoa. Can you tell me more? What does that mean?
It's more connected with military service itself. Long story short, I got a neurostimulator in my back, and that just doesn't. It makes me non-deployable for military service, if that makes sense.
Okay, when you said I'm too broke, I thought you were saying they said you were too broke financially. You mean physically?
Yeah,
okay.
Physically.
Well, that's
I'm falling apart.
No, I get it, bro. All right, but at least I understand now what we're talking about, because I was like, I've never heard that before. So, okay, that makes sense. So you've medically retired. Is that correct? That's already happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so how can I specifically help you?
So I took your assessment, and while my talents and my mission really hit the spot, it seems like the passions are not really in line with what I want to do.
Okay, tell me what the results were. Tell me the passion.
Right.
And let me get the audience caught up, because we have new people all the time. The Get Clear assessment measures talent, what you do best, passion, work that you love, and then mission, results that motivate you. And so Pedro is saying, man, the results didn't line up for me like what I want to do. And we have one-word descriptors of work that you love. So what were your top 3 passions?
All right. Would you prefer my purpose statement?
No, not yet. I want to know the top 3 passions.
Okay. Advising, researching, and protecting.
Advising, researching, and protecting. Now, you have your results in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I want you to go to the page in the passion section that will also show you any passion that's scored above average. You know what I'm talking about? It'll show you your top 3, then it shows you anything above average, then we show you below average results. I want to know what your above average results were, other passions that were identified.
Analyzing, leading, finishing, planning,
Okay.
solving.
Wow, you had a lot above the line. Okay.
Advocating, promoting, creating, and making.
All of those were above average?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So do you have any below average?
Teaching, caregiving, and performing, which
Boom.
kind of goes with
what do you want to do?
From my talent.
Good. So what do you want to do? So the way you
wanna...
present it is, Ken, my passions seem a little bit off from what I want to do. So I want to know what you want to do.
I'm a peacock. I want to fly, Ken.
What does that mean?
I want to be a pilot.
Okay. Okay. Corporate or commercial?
I think either or. I would enjoy it and love it very much.
Why
it's
do you?
What I did in the military.
Okay, so why do you love flying?
It's one of those things where not so many people can do, and it is so complex knowing all the systems and then all the regulations and all the communication that's involved around just getting the simple task of putting a plane in the air and landing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what were your top talents?
Instruction, standby, instruction, execution, and justice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what you've got is a combination in the assessment that tells you obviously what you do well, what you enjoy doing, and then results that motivate you. What was your missional result, your top missional, the thing that motivates you most, the results that motivate you most?
Achievement.
Uh-huh. See, I don't know that I'm getting the whole story from you because I think you answered those questions honestly on the assessment, true or false?
True.
Yeah. And you want to fly, and so you immediately go, no, wait a second. I picked a very specific career, a very specific thing that I want to do, which is flying. And Ken didn't have that in the assessment. Well, no assessment can give you that. It's impossible. But if we look at what you love about flying, there was the researching and the protecting. And when you look at protecting isn't a literal usage here, right? And I think that as a pilot, you've got cargo, true or false?
True.
And a successful flight for you when you're done involves what?
Safety, delivering either people or cargo safely to their destination.
Interesting. Now let me just pull out my assessment, folks, and let's get to the glossary. Okay? And let's just read how I describe the passion of protecting. You're passionate about defending the vulnerable and shielding people from danger. Your deep desire is to make sure the people, things, or causes you care about are safe and protected. Sound like you?
I think you hit it there on the mark there.
Yeah, and I was only 2 sentences in. I'll stop there while I'm ahead. So in the assessment, all I can do are give themes. That's all I can do is give you themes. And then you say, wait a second, is being a pilot flying a plane, is it on mission for me? And it absolutely is for you. Now, the question is, with your physical challenges, are you able to fly?
So, yes, that was the very first thing I did the day I got discharged is I went to the FAA, and on the civilian side, I got myself a flight physical, which I passed. The only problem is now is for me to get qualified civilian-wise, and that's going to cost quite a bit of change and really money and
will your
time.
Military service pay for your training?
No, not all of it, not necessarily.
Well, what do you mean not all of it, not necessarily? How much will it cover?
They will cover maybe about $15,000 and there's $75,000 to $85,000 training cost.
Okay, so how long will it take you to save up the additional, let's call it $60,000 to $70,000?
Well, that's the thing. Finding the day job now that's going to allow me to get to that point B.
Okay, so how much money would you need to make? Do you have any military benefits?
I do have some.
Okay, so my point is this becomes a math equation.
Okay.
Okay. And this is a very simple exercise. Don't overthink this. We know you want to be a pilot, and we know what you have to do to become a pilot. So now we need a day job. And we need a day job that makes us X amount of dollars. and the X amount of dollars that we're shooting for, and maybe we have to have 2 jobs. But then we've got physical limitations. So we start with, what can I physically do, because you have a legitimate injury, okay? So what can I physically do? And then based on what I can physically do, I'm matching up with skills and experience I bring from the military, because you have a lot of those. And then we say, okay, what's the most amount of money I can make? Because we don't care about this being a dream job, and it doesn't even have to be sweet spot. It can be talent only. Why? Because I'm trying to make the most money as quick as possible to save up so that I can then get qualified and then transition to flying. And you can do this. It might be 2 to 3 years, might be 2 years. But how much stuff can you sell? How many jobs can you work? Bottom line, you got to put a number out there and go, it's 70,000, it's 80,000. I got to get there. What is it going to take for me to save up that kind of money? And it will create super laser focus for you. And you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice time. You're going to have to sacrifice some luxuries. You're going to have to sacrifice some friend time. You're going to have to sacrifice the human desire to get everything right now. You have to be patient. But Pedro, this can be done. You could do this. I'm expecting you to do it. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.
Thanks for listening to the Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.